You've been told your whole life that debt is evil. Parents warn you. Teachers repeat it. Financial gurus shout it from books and TV. The message is simple: all debt is bad. But that's a lie. Debt is not automatically destructive. Debt is a tool. And like any tool, it can build empires or destroy lives depending on how it's used. The problem is that most people only see one side of it. They've watched friends or family sink under credit card balances. They've seen homes lost to foreclosure. They've seen people crushed by loans they couldn't repay. So they draw the conclusion that all debt equals danger. Here's the truth. There are two kinds of debt. Consumer debt is poison. Productive debt is power. The difference between broke and wealthy is understanding which is which. Consumer debt is the trap most people fall into. Credit card balances, high-interest personal loans, financing cars they can't afford, borrowing money to buy vacations or gadgets. That kind of debt does nothing but drain. You owe interest every month. The balance grows while the value of what you bought shrinks. You end up chained to payments with nothing to show for it. Productive debt is different. It's borrowing money to buy assets that generate more money than the debt costs. It's capital you use to build something bigger than your savings alone could ever handle. It's fuel for leverage. Look at real estate. Few investors pay cash for properties. They borrow. They use a mortgage to control an asset far larger than their down payment. Tenants pay the loan. Rents rise with inflation. Over time, the property grows in value while the debt shrinks. The owner ends up with equity, cash flow, and growth, all because of borrowed money. Entrepreneurs do the same thing. They borrow to launch businesses, buy equipment, or hire staff. If the business earns more than the loan costs, that debt was productive. It turned an idea into a living company. Even corporations use debt strategically. Apple, Amazon, and Tesla borrow billions despite having cash reserves. Why? Because debt is cheap compared to the returns they generate. They preserve flexibility, scale faster, and earn more than the cost of borrowing. The lie that all debt is bad keeps you small. It keeps you scared of tools the wealthy use every day. It keeps you playing defense while others play offense. Now let's be clear. Most people misuse debt. They borrow to patch holes in their lifestyle. They buy depreciating toys. They spend future income on present pleasures. That's slavery. But the blanket fear of debt is just as dangerous. Because without leverage, you spend your life limited to the cash you can save. You'll never move fast enough. You'll never scale big enough. You'll never own enough. Think of leverage like a steel bar under a boulder. With your bare hands, you can strain and sweat forever. With the lever, you can move it easily. Debt used correctly is that lever. Here's an example. Someone borrows $20,000 on credit cards at 20% interest. They buy clothes, gadgets, and nights out. Within a year, they owe more than they borrowed. They're worse off with nothing to show. Now compare someone who borrows $20,000 at 6% interest. They buy a food truck or delivery van. That vehicle generates $5,000 a month in revenue. Even after expenses and loan payments, they're ahead. That debt produced income instead of consuming it. This is the line between poison and power. The wrong debt bleeds you. The right debt pays you. So how do you know the difference? It comes down to math and discipline. Ask these questions before ever taking on debt. Will this purchase generate income? Will it appreciate in value? Does the return exceed the cost of borrowing? Do I have a plan for servicing payments even in rough months? If the answer is no, the debt is poison. If the answer is yes and the math holds, the debt is leverage. This is what the wealthy understand. They don't fear debt. They master it. They don't borrow for ego. They borrow for expansion. Meanwhile, the average person avoids all debt out of fear. They save for decades. They watch inflation eat their progress. They stay small because they refuse to touch the lever. The truth is that avoiding debt completely is just another way of staying controlled. The system doesn't care if you save diligently. It doesn't care if you hoard cash. Without leverage, you remain predictable. You remain dependent. You remain limited. So what should you do? Step 1, kill bad debt. Credit cards, high-interest personal loans, car notes you can't afford. These are anchors. They must go. Step 2, study productive debt. Learn how mortgages work. Learn how business loans are structured. Learn the math of cash flow. Understand ROI, interest, and risk. Knowledge turns fear into control. Step 3, use debt strategically. Don't take it unless the asset clearly pays you back. Don't bet on hope. Bet on numbers. Debt magnifies mistakes as fast as it magnifies wins. Here's the mindset shift. Debt is not moral. It's not good or bad. It's neutral. It's a tool. The wielder decides if it's a prison or a ladder. Stop believing the blanket lie that debt is always bad. Stop letting fear of leverage keep you small. Learn the difference between poison and power, between consumption and production, between slavery and ownership. Because used correctly, debt isn't your enemy. It's your ally. And it may be the one ally that moves you from saver to builder, from worker to owner, from broke to free. This is Wealth Directive. Subscribe if you're ready to reject the myths, master leverage, and build the truth. The next video exposes another financial trap you've heard your whole life, and it's costing you every day you believe it.